Hello, Exo Sage here on the Sage channel, and I hope you're enjoying this lovely black screen. We're gonna watch something that was just revealed a day or three ago.
Here in Concordia Research Facility, we've mastered the 25-centimeter grid system, pushing engineering to its absolute limits. Our new creative tools flow like thought itself. Blueprint snapping, partial copying, instant undoing of mistakes. We've made these powerful tools intuitive enough for anyone to grasp, yet sophisticated enough to build wonders. To everyone heading for Almagest, prepare for an experience unlike anything before.
So, that's pretty cool, eh? So let's go through it again and, take it a little bit by bit. Obviously, new Space Engineers game, super duper freaking exciting. I quite love everything I'm seeing, though I still want to see a few more things personally. Let's go ahead and skip on over to the first part I got really interested in, as somebody who really was longing for compound blocks ages ago, and ended up thinking about like half blocks. This is awesome. Obviously, they have shown this in a little trailer thing a little whiles ago, showing off the new technology of their upcoming engine. Unfortunately, you do see at the bottom right there, it's nice to have it on your display, isn't it? But at the bottom right, you can see that they do have the block limits there. So you can see as he's placing, or she, as they're placing, you can see the block counts going up. So unfortunately, we still have block limits. I don't know if that's per player or per world, but a limit of 1 million, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, I'd say. Hopefully we can still disable that in this new game, and heck, hopefully we'll even have a better performance with the same amounts of blocks we have in the current game. You can also, of course, see some new thingamajiggities at the bottom there. Same old, but, brand new models. New game, new models. Pretty nifty, eh? I also do love the fact that we can redo and undo quite easily. Yeah. I could imagine having a lot of fun with that if you can do it while you're in combat with friends. So somebody shoots at you and you just undo a huge part of your ship. Assuming you can redo and undo and redo copy and pasted parts of a ship, you can imagine literally having a huge chunk of your ship like they're doing right here, and just constantly repasting it in front of you, like rebuilding that part of your ship just by doing redo, or undo, redo every time somebody shoots it off. Just have a lovely laugh. I should also point out, I love this right here, the fact that, as somebody who loves modular construction, being able to go ahead and just select an area and copy and paste just that area instead of having to build things as a floating grid. You can now just build it part of your ship and then copy and paste it over, which I, again, adore. It's interesting too, that change size thing being, you click one block to start what you're selecting and then you use WASD while holding a button presumably to just go ahead and build out the whole area you want to select. Very, very cool. Symmetry, size. That's interesting to have that size R for size. Makes me wonder if you could literally just scale it up, because it's not just small blocks or big blocks now, so you could see actually making something small, copying it, and then scaling it up to paste it much larger. Yeah, that could be very, very interesting. And I do like that they show the snapping at 0.25. Again, they're not just saying small or big, which makes me think that you might actually see snapping of 0.5, 0.75 even, 1, and then all the way up to the 2.5, or maybe even bigger. Who knows? Thinking about it now, it might also be quite useful to be able to save your own blueprints to your hotbar. So if you make your own modular ship design, you can go ahead and use your own modules that you have made out of smaller blocks. Now, this part of the trailer I found just odd, honestly. To be like, look, we have a paint gun. Yeah, sure, we never had a paint gun in the past, but we could paint blocks. So it is a very weird thing to show off. Maybe they're just showing off the fact that finally it is a cast point. You have a specific point wherever you're aiming, that block you're aiming at will become the thing that's colored. You don't have to worry about that square bounding blocks around entire blocks. Left mouse button, paint all. But surely the left mouse button would just continue painting. And then, of course, we have the destruction thing, which at the top right, it actually shows you how many PCU have returned to you due to destruction of blocks on red ship. Tells you what ship you're damaging, how many PCU you're getting back. Again, personally, I'm really hoping that they've managed to get performance to the point where we never really have to think about such a thing, but it looks like it will be still a pretty hefty thing, unfortunately. But, hey, check out that destruction, the fact that they're taking what are proper models, not just the standard blocks, and actually breaking them apart. In one of their earlier videos, they showed that there was parallax with this, and I assume that means where the interior of the blocks you might have some parallax occlusion with the textures that show up from the inside of it. I also find myself wondering, at what point do they stop being functional? Because in theory, especially with, I think it was the landing gear coming up here in a second, solar panel too, you could imagine part of that solar panel is still functioning. I don't know how far they'll go into that. Is it, well, as soon as it takes enough damage to begin fracturing, it's done? Or can you end up with a partially damaged system that keeps on working? And then can you build inside what was that full block? So let's say, this whole center section here, or corner section here, floats away from this solar panel. Can I go in there with small blocks and just build something different then? At that point, are all big single block items technically built out of smaller blocks? Meaning if you wanted, you could cut part of a larger device apart just so you could build something custom inside of it. I kind of doubt that will be the fact, but it would be interesting. And here, this is where I was thinking about, like, at what point do they stop becoming functional as well? I actually think maybe I just saw it in this. If I can frame backwards here. Did I see an actual light change on the lights of that? Yeah, okay, so you can actually see it. Well, actually, it's weird. Look at the bottom of your screen here. The landing gear is still a bright white, even though it's been very clearly devastated. This one, too, you can see, still a bright white, but as soon as you hit that, doot! So maybe it's something about what part of it was damaged versus how much damage was done to it.
We've made these powerful tools intuitive enough for anyone to grasp, yet sophisticated enough to build one.
Alright, I have to point this out because I find it hilarious. Bottom right of your screen, you see the little dude sitting there? He's just chilling little dude. Watch how long he sits there before somebody's like, okay, now go.
We've made these powerful tools intuitive enough for anyone to grasp.
Just chilling, waiting.
To build one.
Oh, okay.
To everyone heading for Almagest.
This awkward ass pause right here. It's like, what did you do? Did you forget what block you're replacing? There you go. Turn. We're gonna go walk. Yeah, this way. And then it goes at a bloody angle here. Like, it's like, what are you doing, boss? Anyway, I just gotta laugh out of that guy. Also, check out this, the new suit. This is a good chance to look at the new suit and very Mass Effect style, helmet. Which brings me on to, like, modding. I am really hoping that we still get modding in this game. I assume all the DLC and stuff we've bought in the previous game, all the mods and stuff of the previous game, none of that will transfer over. I would really be surprised. I do suspect they'll take some of the more popular items and go ahead and create new versions of them, and it'll just be in the game by default. But I suspect we'll see more DLCs and stuff in the future for this game. hopefully with a better UI and layout for all of the mini blocks. But yeah, I was talking about that suit, wasn't I? I'm hoping we can mod in new suits and stuff as well, especially considering how cool these look. I could almost imagine a mod just letting you swap out the faces of characters in these as well. Yeah, they're pretty nifty suits. Let's go ahead and actually, speaking of suits, I think, yeah, you can get a little bit look at this other video. The cool jetpack setups and everything. The character looks more lean, more just, you know, person, less of a chibi thing. Even though the run is a little bit strange, and the walk. But hey, they're heavy backpacks, and your Mac boots make everything feel so heavy. That's an old video now, ain't it? But yeah, nifty stuff there. In this one, we can see another, like, good glimpse of those spacesuits from the front. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I do hope, that we get fun textures and stuff with spacesuits. Hello, I should have a spacesuit on screen if I'm going to be talking about a spacesuit.
10,000 years in the void.
Wow, yeah, Sage, great. That's such a good photo of a spacesuit. Talking about spacesuits. Anyway, I do hope we get fun, cool textures and silly textures and stuff. But I do hope we also actually get gear in this game. You know, different backpacks you can equip, different trousers, top, helmet, all that stuff. I do hope we actually see a lot of that too, because that would be fun. Even though it's not the whole engineering creative thing, I do personally think it would be cool, especially if we end up looting them like we do in the current game. Instead of them just being textures, you could have the actual different stats or different designs to the actual physical model. That would be pretty awesome, I think. And then, of course, modding for each of those. Imagine being able to mod in your own custom set of gloves. I think that would be just fantastic. Here's another photo of the suit. It's a pretty good suit. A pretty good suit.
Or exist at all. Here in the Almagist system, we stand alone. It is up to us to decide if the sacrifice was worth it.
Now, I do find they got ropes. You see this? Each character has a rope hanging off of them. I wonder if they shall actually use that. I'm kind of doubtful, but I could imagine them setting up a physics system with a rope tethered to something. Obviously, in these trailers, they've not really shown off planets much, but there was another one a whiles back. They just called it the V-Rage 3 Mountains. They've gone back and changed a lot of these titles to actually say Space Engineers 2. I don't believe they originally said that until the most recent video that came out. They haven't changed this to say Space Engineers 2. So that makes me wonder, are we still going to have planets? I assume so, because it was a pretty big breakthrough for the original game, but maybe not. If we do, I hope we see way more flora, and I want fauna. I want actual fauna instead of dead planets, please God. If not, well, I'll be sad, but whatever. Plants are still cool. But yeah, you can see old video, very low frame rate on it, and they're showing off their more steep mountain generation. They did a whole talk, actually, at one point where they spoke about, I believe it was cliffs and such things. I didn't look at it very in depth, but I know they were working on some new planet stuff. And then, of course, they're showing off some voxel materials, again, called V-Rage 3, not Space Engineers 2. Pretty nifty thing here, I think, is just mainly that I believe they're doing runtime tessellation using textures and maybe parallax occlusion mapping, just to give everything way more detail and depth. Instead of, like, you can basically see it here, and the distance there, that rock face, is very smooth, very simple, but up close, you can see there's a lot of detail, so it's probably just triangulating, tessellating, the closer it gets to the camera, and using the texture and a height map to make everything look, well, nice and detailed, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay. I think they're actually showing it on and off here. Oh no, they're just showing two different textures. Sorry. I thought it was weird it would be an on and off. No, it's just two very unique textures. Four. You know, there's unique textures and then there's textures. Okay. They're nice. They're pleasant. Yeah, well done. That second one really catches me. I imagine like waves splashing up onto it almost. Yeah, groovy stuff. They also have a video they put out with voxel editing, which honestly, it's the same as we already have, but the graphics are much improved. So, let me turn that down a little bit. So graphics being improved here are mainly, you notice that outline when it clips through something. In the past, it was often very hard to tell exactly where the sphere for your sculpting was. Now that makes it a lot easier to tell where it actually is. Of course, they're still showing off the free place mode where it's just stuck in front of you at a certain distance, or the snapping mode where it snaps to the object you are looking at. And then yeah, just like before, going ahead and being able to add materials to everything. It looks nice though. Yeah, their shaders and stuff are looking better. I also think this part is really cool. The whole reset area, basically it's a healing brush to restore whatever terrain you've altered back to its original state. I thought that was pretty nifty. That could be very useful too for if you want to dig something out, build a big base, and then just use that to restore whatever was there originally. I do wonder if they have planets, if maybe you could see the planets' trees and stuff actually return as well if you use that. It's cool. Also do like the material picker. Nifty, nifty. And then, of course, they have their old V-Rage thing. They haven't updated this to say Space Engineers 2, so, you know, maybe all of it will be Space Engineers 2. Oh, don't know. Now, looking through the internet and through their main page, boop, it's a little sad to see that water isn't really a thing I'm seeing. I know in the past they have shown off some stuff with a watery dam and all that fun stuff, but again, that was just V-Rage 3 stuff. It's not actually a guarantee that will be in the game. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be, but hey, only time I guess will tell. Anyway, I just thought I'd go ahead and, you know, share something everyone's probably already seen, but give a few of my thoughts on it. One last thing I would like to say, and I hope the devs are thinking along those lines, over here in the building section, when they get to this and they start tossing together, the cursed mouse scroll wheel hellscape has returned here. So they destroy it out, they put their new thingy in, cool, now they need to get the right block, and immediately have to scroll through 20,000 bloody little different versions, and I think they probably scrolled past it once. Let's see, did they? Do block, square, no, they went past the square and had to go back to it. I hate that system. That system is alright if you have like 3 blocks, but when you have any more than that, it's just a pain in the arse. Alright, here's what I'm thinking, and we're going to jump into just standard Space Engineers real quick. So you do a, let's say, Shift 4. Your hotbar has the heavy armor block there with the plus sign. Boop! Now since you've done Shift 4, it brings up another hotbar with all of the stuff that would usually be in the plus sign. Then, there, you would select whatever you want. Let's just say the heavy armor block. You press 1, pop. Now on your hotbar would be just that heavy armor block with a plus sign. If you had chosen any of the others, they would now be on your hotbar, but still with the plus sign. So you don't have to keep going to completely different hotbars, and you don't have to scroll through 1,000,001 different, you know, things with just the plus scroll wheel fun thing, annoying thing. I really hope they put a different way to select your blocks, because the mouse scroll wheel is a awful solution that needs to have a polite funeral and be replaced by its next generation, which is something better, whether it's a Shift 5 and it brings up, again, the whole selection of everything that would have been under that plus icon, and you just select it that way so you can memorize your keys really quickly and get through it, or if it's some GUI thing, or maybe a radial menu, though I really despise radial menus. That might actually be worse than the plus menu, but something other than just, well, you mouse scroll wheel through it and you'll find what you need, and maybe you'll remember how many ticks of the scroll wheel you need. I hate that terribly. That's my only true gripe about the current Space Engineers, is that and block limits and lag and latency and sync issues. But hey, Space Engineers 2 is coming out, and hopefully we'll see improvements to all that, and I just want to gripe a little bit of a plus icon thing. Anyway, that's that. Thanks a bunch for watching, peoples, and maybe I'll see you next time. Don't know. Ta-ta.